So Kirsten, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming today. So we're about to enter a journey together, and I'm just going to close my eyes and start doing the reading. If I start going in a direction that's not particularly interesting to you, just bring me back with some question that more pertains to what you want to know. And we'll just go from there.
Okay.
So one of the things that I'm picking up right away is that there's a real sweetness and tenderness about how you move through the world. And this has served you in some ways, and it also has disallowed you to really step into your full empowerment at a lot of times in your life. There's something going on in your life right now where you're right on that. It's like a teeter-totter. And because you're not practiced in really stepping into your personal empowerment in this particular area, you'll try a new behavior and won't really like the results, and then you'll back off and you'll end up not stepping forward and putting forward what it is that you want. It's temporary. It is uncomfortable. You're going to be working this for about another 3 months. You'll have some resolution with it in about 6 months.
When you say this area, what area?
It seems like some kind of relationship, some kind of interpersonal relationship, or two different relationships.
So not as much work, livelihood related, but interpersonally.
It has to do with how you are relating to another person or other individuals. So it may have to do with your work. So let me just be with your work a moment. Well, it's interesting. You've put a lot of energy forward, and and there's a lot of efforting that has happened, and it's almost like you're sort of trying to accomplish your vision, which your vision is very accurate, very powerful, very possible, but you're sort of on the surface. There's a depth that you need to go to in your knowing about what you're capable of doing, in your trusting your own ability, in your willingness to really drop down and anchor yourself. And it probably has to do with learning how to develop more and more of your inner masculine. All right, so I'm getting some energy in my heart and in my throat, and so I'm getting the sense that some male role modeling when you were younger was really discouraging you to develop your own inner masculine. So it has to do with how you perceive what being loving is and how you perceive voicing, and they're often in conflict with each other. And so your work right now is to find that inner centeredness, that groundedness. And there is a part of you that puts forward a front, and it's worked for you, and it's not a false front. It's a very easy place for you to go that is light and easy and pleasant, and you want everybody to get along and want everything to go smoothly. And your perception is that if you really step into your power, that somehow you're going to offend, or you're not going to be liked, or you're not going to be received. So there's this push me, pull you with that. Is this landing for you?
Yeah, parts of it, definitely. Okay. Yeah. The efforting is like right on, and I do have questions about you know, like when you say stepping into my power and stepping into, you know, in a way I think of it as like the gifts that I have to bring the world and the gifts that I have in this life. And so I'm really, and I have a sense of what those are, and I'd love you to maybe speak to those.
So it's not, I'm going to say it. You're on the surface, but it's not inauthentic. It's just that you haven't dropped to the depth of it. So it's the so you know what you have to offer. You know what your skills are. You know what your ability is. You know what your dreams are. You know what your passion is. And what you have to do is believe in it. You have to believe that if you go there, you will be successful. You also, there's a connection with other people that's going to be really important. Look for mentors. Look for people with whom you can ride with, who you can co-create with.
You know, I wasn't intending to go down this road, but, you know, I do have some ambivalence around my livelihood and my path right now in terms of not the ultimate vision. Like, I think that you're right on in terms of what I feel like I ultimately want to be developing and offering in a big way, but I'm choosing right now to develop that within academia. And that's challenging for me, and I have a lot of doubts about that, and if that's the right road to take in order to, you know, get where I want to go. There are things that I love about it, but I don't know if you have a sense.
It's giving you the credentials that are going to let you springboard into what you really are meant to do. And it's a good place for you to be. It's a great place for you to be disciplining your mind, disciplining your focus, time management, connection, really bringing in a curiosity about other fields, other people, other disciplines. It's not, it is useful, it is helpful, and it's not the end point for you. Yeah.
Thanks. Is there any overlap with what you're describing in terms of the masculine and the going past the superficial with my health challenges and my body? It feels like it might be related.
Yeah. As soon as I sat down with you, I could see there's some health challenges going on. And I just want to back up a little bit. I was speaking of surface, which means the first several layers of who you are, and you used the word superficial. And I really want to make the distinction between the two, because you have never been superficial. You don't operate that way. You're way too honest for it. You have, your integrity disallows you to move in the world in a superficial way. So basically, you've just gotten to know the upper layers of who you are, and now it's time to go deeper, and that's what's related to your health issues. Is because there's this yearning and this pull to move to a deeper place, to move to even more authenticity, to move to even more empowerment. And so because you're being pulled there and still sort of resisting in some ways and coming back up and being up on that level of the layers that you're most comfortable with, your body is in disharmony. When you can develop more of the inner masculine, when you start taking up more of your power, which you have, you're just the slightest movement away from you. It's not like your inner power is at a big distance from you. You're right up close to it. So it's just a matter of just stepping into it at this point. There's some things that you need to do that could really help you with that. Make sure that you're doing plenty of things in your life that are really grounding. Make sure that you are able to really be in your body, either in physical exercise or even sensual practices, you know, baths or massages, something to help you keep getting back in your body and honoring your physical body that is carrying this very bright, light, brilliant, capable being around. Also making sure that you're breathing more fully and getting more oxygen happening, more oxygenation happening for all the cells of your body is going to be really important. And there's something about developing the inner masculine which feels really big, but I can't quite see it, so I'm just going to take a moment here. It might be helpful for you to look, have a writing exercise or just an introspective practice where you look at the male role models that you've had and see the conclusions that you've drawn from it, from the males that you have had in your life, and see the representation of the masculine in those males. And it's very important to create a distinction between those two things. Every woman has a certain inner masculine and inner feminine. Every man has inner masculine and inner feminine. So how did these males, these men, represent the masculine and the conclusions that you've drawn from that? Because it's time for you to step more into an empowered inner masculine. And that is a way, what it's going to mean is you're going to be able to connect into a groundedness and a solid center. And from that, you'll be able to operate. It's not a matter of like putting your foot down or making declarations or pushing. It really is a matter of standing. It's almost like a martial arts stance from inside. And then you'll feel your empowerment from there, and you'll be able to act from that in a way that will start netting you more and more the results that you want. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because that place of empowerment, I think the reason I keep coming back to the body is because where I tend to get thrown off is when, like physically, I end up encountering a really big obstacle. Yeah. And so then, like all of the kind of ideas that I had about myself and the way things are, and it kind of gets shattered. Yeah. You know, so it's like I can see how that can also be a place for grounding in sort of this being, just beingness, but it's also very disorienting. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I do have questions about, you know, what are some very like tangible things that are good for my body or bad for my body at this point too, and I don't know if you can read into any of that or if they're even useful questions.
They are, if they're a question for you, they're useful. If you haven't already begun to see a practitioner, maybe a naturopath or acupuncturist, it almost seems like for you, muscle testing could be really important. So you could have a huge list of questions about what your body needs, and you go to a person who can do muscle testing.